The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council was a massive structure of crystal and light. It floated in neutral space, far from any star system that might claim ownership of it. The hall was built to impress. Its high ceilings and glowing walls made visitors feel small. That was the point. Commander Do-hyun Kim stood tall despite this. He adjusted his blue Earth uniform and looked at the faces of the council members. After 10 years as Earth's main diplomat here, he knew what their expressions meant. The slight lift of tentacles, the narrowing of compound eyes, the stiffening of fur. None of it was good. The council has reached its decision, announced the High Minister, a tall being with silver skin that rippled like water. Human research into quantum communication will be restricted, effective immediately. Do-hyun felt his jaw tighten but kept his face calm. Beside him, Admiral Jiwoo Park was less successful at hiding her anger. Her hands formed fists at her sides. "May I ask on what grounds?" Do-hyun's voice was steady, professional. The High Minister's silver lips curved in what might have been a smile. "Humanity is too unpredictable to be trusted with such technology. Your species still resolves many conflicts through force. You lack the necessary restraint." "Restraint?" Admiral Park whispered, her voice so low only Do-hyun could hear. "Like when they asked us to fight the Hive Wars for them?" Do-hyun gave her a small nod. She was right. For decades, humans had been the Council's soldiers. When the Hive threatened Council worlds, human troops were sent to die. When the Void Pirates raided shipping lanes, human ships defended them. Yet when peace came, humans were treated like children who couldn't be trusted. "High Minister," said Counselor Tae-ho Lee, the third member of Earth's delegation. He was known for his calm voice and gentle approach. "Earth has complied with all previous restrictions. We have shared our medical advances. We have helped defend Council space. We ask only for equal treatment." The High Minister's silver skin rippled in what the humans recognized as dismissal. "Equal treatment must be earned, young species. Humanity has been part of the Council for merely 70 years. Some of us have guided the stars for millennia." Do-hyun looked around the Great Hall. 50 different species watched from their seats, some with sympathy, others with cold detachment. Many of the younger species seemed uncomfortable. They knew they could be next. Admiral Park leaned close. "This is the third restriction this year. First our colony expansion, then our AI research, now this. They're choking us, Commander." Do-hyun knew she was right. Each restriction made Earth more dependent on the Council. Each rule pushed humanity further from the stars they had fought to explore. "We have prepared a transition plan," continued the High Minister. "Council members will oversee the shutdown of your quantum research facilities. Your scientists will be reassigned to approved projects." "They want our research," whispered Tae-ho. "This isn't about safety. They want what we've discovered." That was the final straw. Do-hyun stepped forward. The movement was small, but it broke protocol. Junior species representatives did not approach the central floor without permission. "Commander Kim," the High Minister's voice carried a warning. "You have not been recognized to speak." "I believe Earth has been recognized to fight and die when needed," said Do-hyun, his voice carrying through the hall. "We have been recognized as worthy to shed blood when the Hive threatened your worlds. We have been recognized as adequate shields when the Void Pirates targeted your ships." A murmur ran through the hall. Such direct speech was not common here. "You test the Council's patience, Commander," said a large being with 4 arms and eyes that glowed green. "And you test humanity's patience, Counselor Vrax," replied Do-hyun. "For 70 years we have been the newest member of this council. For 70 years we have followed your rules, fought your wars, and accepted your guidance. And what has it gotten us? More restrictions, more oversight, more ways to keep us dependent." Tae-ho stepped forward to join him. "We came to the stars hoping to find partners. Instead, we found masters looking for servants." The High Minister's skin darkened to deep gray. "This behavior only proves our point. Humanity is not ready for greater responsibility. Your emotional outbursts demonstrate exactly why we must restrict your development." Admiral Park laughed. The sound was harsh in the formal chamber. "We've heard this before. We're too emotional, too unpredictable, too violent. Yet when the Hive attacked Centauri Prime, you called for our emotional soldiers. When the pirates threatened your trade routes, you wanted our unpredictable tactics. This discussion is closed, said the High Minister. The Council has decided. Inspection teams will arrive at Earth's research facilities within the week. Du Hyun looked at his colleagues. They had discussed this possibility many times. They had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but they were prepared. No, said Do Hyun. The word echoed in the chamber. Excuse me? The High Minister's voice was dangerously soft. No inspection teams will be coming to Earth, said Do Hyun. No council overseers will be shutting down our research. No more restrictions will be placed on humanity's development. The chamber went completely silent. Du Hyun stood straight, his voice clear and firm. By the authority given to me by the President and the United Earth Government, I hereby announce humanity's withdrawal from the Galactic Council, effective immediately. Alarms began to sound. Red lights flashed around the chamber. This had not happened in over 500 years. You cannot leave the Council. The High Minister's voice rose for the first time. The agreements you signed, agreements made under false pretenses, interrupted Admiral Park. Agreements that were never meant to be equal. We are not asking permission, High Minister. We are informing you of our decision. Tae-ho stepped forward. Unlike his colleagues, his voice was sad rather than angry. We tried for 70 years to be your partners. We defended your worlds, shared our discoveries, and respected your traditions. But partnership must go both ways. The council chamber erupted into chaos. Some members shouted threats, others called for calm. A few younger species representatives watched with what looked like admiration. If you leave, said the High Minister when the noise died down, you leave alone. No trade, no protection, no allies. The human worlds will be isolated, cut off from the galactic community. Du Hyun smiled for the first time. We survived alone before we met you. We will survive alone again if we must. But I don't think we'll be alone for long. He looked at the younger species representatives. Many avoided his gaze, but some met his eyes with interest. This is your final choice? Asked the High Minister. It is, said Do Hyun. The day humanity leaves the Galactic Council is the day we finally become free. The Earth delegation turned as one and walked toward the exit. The massive crystal doors opened before them, revealing the stars beyond. As they walked out, Admiral Park whispered, "They have no idea what's coming, do they?" Du Hyun kept his face neutral until the doors closed behind them. Then he allowed himself a small smile. "No," he said quietly. "They don't." 3 months had passed since humanity's dramatic exit from the Galactic Council. On the news channels across Council space, reports showed Earth suffering under harsh sanctions. Images of long lines for basic goods and dark cities played on repeat. The Council made sure everyone saw what happened to those who defied their authority. But the truth was very different. Deep beneath the icy surface of Titan, Saturn's largest moon, Dr. Hyunwoo Kang worked in a lab that officially did not exist. He pushed his glasses up his nose and stared at the floating display of quantum particles. "Try it again," he said to his assistant. "Increase power by 12%. The assistant nodded and adjusted the controls. The particles in the display shifted, then vanished completely. Dr. Kang smiled. "Perfect. They're now in the secondary lab." "On Europa?" the assistant asked, eyes wide. "That's over 400 million miles away." "And the transfer was instant," said Dr. Kang. "No delay, no signal that could be detected." He made a note on his tablet. "The Council thinks we're decades away from this technology. They have no idea what's coming." While Dr. Kang worked on Titan, General Sunmi Choi stood in the command center of Outpost Horizon, hidden in the Kuiper Belt beyond Neptune. The outpost had been built in secret over 20 years ago. Council inspectors had never found it. "Seria, report," she ordered. A young officer stepped forward. "All systems operational, General. The fleet is at 93% readiness. The new quantum drives have been installed in 68% of our ships. General Choi nodded. On the main screen, she could see hundreds of ships floating in formation. Each one carried weapons that the Council had forbidden. Each one was faster and stronger than the Council believed possible. And our other outposts? She asked. All green, General. Stations in the Oort Cloud, Proxima Centauri, and Wolf 359 report ready status. General Choi allowed herself a small smile. The Council thought they had confined humanity to a handful of worlds. They had no idea how far humans had already spread. At that same moment on Earth, in an underground facility beneath the old city of Seoul, intelligence officer Ha-Jun Yoon coordinated humanity's secret network. His office walls were covered with screens showing information from across the galaxy. Report from Agent 12 in the Arcturus sector, said an analyst. The Council is moving ships to blockade the Sol system. They'll be in position within 2 weeks. Ha-Jun nodded. As expected. What about our agents on the Council homeworlds? All in place. Agent 7 has successfully accessed the defense network on Varix Prime. Agent 23 has infiltrated the Council's central archive. Ha-Jun studied the screens. For decades, humanity had placed agents throughout Council space. While the Council watched Earth's official diplomats, these hidden agents gathered secrets and prepared for this day. And the Whisper Network? Ha-Jun asked. The analyst smiled. Fully operational. We can send messages to any of our agents instantly without the Council detecting it. This was humanity's greatest secret. While pretending to accept the Council's restrictions on quantum communication, Earth scientists had perfected it years ago. The Council's spies and sensors couldn't detect these communications. It was like humanity had invisible strings connecting them across the stars. Send the activation code, Ha-Jun ordered. It's time for Phase 2. Across Council space, human agents received the signal. On 50 different worlds, they began their work. Some planted devices in key facilities. Others copied secret files. Many simply watched and reported what they saw. On the Council's capital world, Agent 9, who had posed as a simple maintenance worker for years, placed a small device inside the central communication hub. No one noticed. No alarm sounded. But now, humanity could listen to every message the Council sent. Back on Earth, President Junho Nam sat in the Oval Office with his top advisors. Unlike the worried face he showed on public broadcasts, here he was calm and confident. The Council believes we are desperate, he said. Their spies report food shortages and power outages. What they see is what we want them to see, said Commander Do-hyun Kim, recently returned from the Council. The suffering is happening in special zones we created for their spy satellites to observe. Admiral Ji-woo Park nodded. Meanwhile, our real production facilities are running at full capacity. Food supplies are stable. Energy production is higher than ever. And Protocol Exodus? Asked the President. Proceeding on schedule, said Admiral Park. We've already moved 20% of our industrial capacity to secure locations. If the Council attacks Earth directly, they'll find much less than they expect. Protocol Exodus had been developed over 30 years ago, soon after humanity joined the Council. The smartest leaders had seen even then that the relationship might not last. They had planned for independence from the beginning. What about the other species? Asked the President. Have any responded to our message? Commander Kim smiled slightly. 7 of the younger Council species have sent private communications expressing interest in our offer of alliance. They're watching closely to see if we succeed. And the Council's response to our withdrawal? Ha-Jun Yoon, connected via secure link, answered this question. As predicted, they're treating it as a temporary rebellion. They believe economic pressure will force us back within a year. They still don't understand humans very well, said the President. Everyone in the room smiled at that. The Council's greatest mistake had always been underestimating humanity. They saw humans as primitive, emotional, and predictable. They never realized these were strengths, not weaknesses. On a Council border world, a small trading ship requested permission to dock. The ship's captain, Minho Seo, waited patiently, while Council security scanned his vessel. Purpose of your visit? Asked the port officer. Just trading, said Minho with a friendly smile. Basic supplies. Nothing exciting. The officer checked his records. The ship was registered to a minor trading company from one of the Council's member worlds. Its papers were in order. Its cargo was simple and legal. Cleared for docking, said the officer without much interest. As Minho guided his ship to the assigned dock, his second-in-command, Lieutenant Yunji Bayek, joined him on the bridge. Did they scan the hidden compartments? She asked quietly. They tried, said Minho. But our new shielding worked perfectly. They saw exactly what we wanted them to see. Yunji nodded. In the hidden sections of their ship were devices that would be installed in the port's computer systems. Within hours, humans would be able to track every ship that came and went from this world. Similar scenes played out across dozens of Council worlds, small ships with hidden purposes, quiet agents doing quiet work, humans preparing for what was coming. In his lab on Titan, Dr. Kang made the final adjustments to his newest creation. It didn't look impressive, just a small silver cube that fit in the palm of his hand. But inside was technology the Council believed impossible. Is it ready? Asked his assistant. Dr. Kang nodded. The first quantum shield prototype. If it works as designed, it will change everything. Will it protect us when the Council attacks? Dr. Kang's eyes narrowed. It will do much more than that. The Council thinks they're coming to punish us. They have no idea they're walking into a trap 70 years in the making. Across the solar system and beyond, humanity prepared in silence. The day of reckoning was coming. Captain Minho Seo stood on the bridge of the stealth vessel Shadowhawk. Through the main viewport he watched the stars. His ship hid in the darkness beyond Pluto, waiting. They're coming, said Lieutenant Yunji Bayek. Her fingers moved quickly, over the weapons console. Long-range sensors detect 32 Council ships entering the solar system. Minho nodded. This was expected. The Council had finally sent their peacekeeping force to bring Earth back in line. In reality, it was an invasion fleet. All systems ready? He asked. Yes, Captain. Quantum phase drive is charged. Weapons are hot. Shields at full power. Minho touched the communicator on his wrist. Command, this is Shadowhawk. We have visual. On the Council fleet. Request permission to engage. General Sunmi Choi's voice came through clearly. Permission granted, Captain. Show them what humanity can do. Minho smiled. You heard the General. Let's make history. The Shadowhawk was unlike any ship the Council had ever seen. It looked small and simple from the outside. Inside, it held humanity's most advanced technology. The quantum phase drive was something the Council thought was centuries away from being possible. It allowed the ship to move instantly from one point in space to another without traveling the distance between. Quantum phase coordinates locked, said the navigation officer. Target is the space directly behind the Council flagship. Execute, ordered Minho. There was no sensation of movement. One moment they were beyond Pluto. The next, they were behind the massive Council command ship. The Council vessels showed no reaction. They hadn't detected the Shadowhawk's arrival. They don't see us, said Yunji with a small smile. Their sensors can't detect our cloaking field. Minho leaned forward. Let's announce ourselves, target their engines with a warning shot. Yunji's fingers danced across her console. Target locked. Fire. A pulse of blue energy shot from the Shadowhawk. It hit the Council flagship's engines with perfect accuracy. The huge ship shuddered. Now they see us, said Yunji. The Council fleet reacted with confusion. Ships began turning, weapons powering up. But they were slow. Their tactics were predictable. They had fought the same way for 1,000 years. Open a channel to the entire fleet, ordered Minho. The communication officer nodded. Channel open, sir. Minho spoke clearly. Attention Council vessels, this is Captain Minho Seo of the Earth Defense Force. You have entered sovereign human space without permission. You will power down your weapons and leave immediately. The response was quick and angry. A tall alien with blue-green skin appeared on the main screen. This is Admiral Vex of the Council Peacekeeping Force. Your rebellion ends today. Surrender your vessel and prepare to be boarded. Minho shook his head. I don't think you understand the situation, Admiral. We're not surrendering. We're giving you a chance to leave peacefully. The alien admiral made a sound like harsh laughter. One small ship against 32 council vessels? Your human arrogance is truly without limit. Sir, said Yunji quietly. They're launching fighters. Minho nodded. Then it's time. Deploy quantum lock weapons. This was the moment that would change everything. Council records showed that quantum lock technology was impossible. Human scientists had perfected it 5 years ago. Quantum lock armed, reported Yunji. Target zone established. Fire. A wave of energy expanded from the Shadowhawk in all directions. It looked like ripples in water spreading out through space. When it touched the council ships, they froze. Not just slowed down, they completely stopped moving. Quantum lock successful, said Yunji. All council vessels are trapped in space-time. They can't move, fire weapons, or send messages. Minho stood up. Now for Phase 2. Bring Counselor Guk-hee Jang to the bridge. Minutes later, a small woman in simple clothes entered. Guk-hee Jang had once been a junior member of the council. She had defected to Earth last year, bringing valuable information with her. It's time, said Minho. Guk-hee nodded. She went to a special console and entered a complex code. This will allow us to bypass their security systems. Every council, ship and station will receive our message. General Choi is standing by, said the communications officer. Minho nodded. Put her through to the fleet-wide channel. General Sunmi Choi's face appeared on screens throughout the frozen council fleet. Her expression was calm but firm. This message is for all council species, she said. For 70 years, humanity tried to be your partners. We fought your wars. We obeyed your rules. We shared our discoveries. In return, you treated us like children. You restricted our growth. You lied about your true intentions. She paused. Today you sent ships to punish us for wanting freedom. Your ships are now disabled. Your weapons are useless. We could destroy your fleet entirely, but that is not our way. The image shifted to show hundreds of human ships appearing from hidden bases across the solar system. The council fleet was now surrounded. We tried to be your partners, continued General Choi. Now we'll show you what humanity can really do. Another image appeared. This one showed Dr. Hyunwoo Kang activating a device. Suddenly, all across council space, hidden quantum communicators turned on. On 50 different worlds, humans could now talk instantly across the stars, bypassing the council's communication network completely. The technology you tried to keep from us, said General Choi. We've had it for decades. The weapons you banned, we've improved them. The restrictions you placed on us only made us more creative, more determined. On the Shadowhawk's bridge, Minho watched with pride. This moment had been planned for years. The view changed again to show President Junho Nam. To all council species I offer a choice, said the president. Continue following leaders who rule through fear and lies. Or join us in building something better. Earth will no longer bow to the council, but we offer friendship to any who wish it. Guk-hee stepped forward. It's working. 11 junior council species have already responded positively. They want to know more. Minho smiled. The council's biggest mistake was thinking they could control us. They never understood humans. On the main screen, Admiral Vex's ship hung frozen in space. The Admiral himself was visible through the viewport, his face locked in an expression of shock and rage. How long will the quantum lock last? Asked Minho. About 12 hours, said Yunji. Long enough for us to complete the next phase. And what happens when they're free? Yunji smiled. By then it won't matter. We'll have accessed their central database. We'll know all their secrets. This was the true purpose of the operation. While the council fleet was frozen, special teams would board their ships. They would copy the secure data stored in the Admiral's personal files. Data about something the council had been hiding for thousands of years. Captain, called the sensor officer, We're detecting an unauthorized transmission from one of the Council ships. Someone is sending a message despite the quantum lock. Minho frowned. That should be impossible. The message is being sent on an old frequency, said Guk-hee suddenly, looking worried. It's not going to the Council, it's going somewhere else, somewhere very far away. Can we block it? Too late, it's already gone. Minho and Guk-hee looked at each other. They both knew what this meant. Someone on the Council fleet had sent a warning. But to whom? Get the boarding teams moving, ordered Minho. We need that. Data now. The timeline has changed. Across the solar system, the human fleet moved into position. The first strike had been successful, but Minho knew this was just the beginning. The real battle was still to come. Dr. Jinsu-yu had never been a soldier. He was a scholar who spent most of his life studying ancient alien ruins. But now, he stood in a military uniform aboard the human stealth ship Nighthawk, approaching the most forbidden place in Council, space. Are you sure about this? Asked Commander Heewon Kwan. She was a tall woman with short hair and eyes that missed nothing. As leader of the Special Operations Team, she was responsible for getting them all home alive. I'm sure, said Jin-Soo. The clues were scattered across a dozen worlds, all pointing here. He gestured at the view screen showing their destination. The archive world of the Council looked peaceful from space. It was a small planet with blue oceans and green lands. But its importance was beyond measure. For millions of years, the Council had stored their most important records here, and no non-Council member had ever been allowed to visit. How good is our disguise? Jin-Soo asked. The best, said Heewon. Our ship looks exactly like a Council security vessel. The codes provided by Sukja are valid. As far as they know, we're just a routine patrol. Sukja Lim sat quietly in the corner of the bridge. For 300 years, she had served the High Council as a record keeper. No one had ever noticed her, which was exactly what made her so valuable. People spoke freely around her, thinking she was unimportant. She had heard many secrets. They will check our ship when we land, said Sukja. Her voice was soft but clear. Have your people memorize their false identities? Heewon nodded. Every member of my team can pass as a Council security officer. We've studied for months. The Nighthawk approached the Archive World's orbital security station. This was the first test. If their disguise failed here, they would never reach the surface incoming transmission, said the communications officer. A stern-looking alien appeared on the screen. Security vessel, identify yourself and state your purpose. Heewon stepped forward. Using the voice modifier hidden in her collar, she spoke in the clicking language of the Vex species. Patrol Ship 447, returning from outer sector duty. Requesting permission to dock for crew rotation and data upload. The security officer checked his records. Your authorization code? Heewon recited the code Sukja had provided. The officer studied something off-screen, then nodded. Code accepted. Proceed to docking bay 3. Jin-Soo let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. The first hurdle was cleared. The landing went smoothly. The human team, all disguised as various Council species, left the ship and entered the archive complex. Sukja led them through corridors of white stone. The walls were lined with data storage units so advanced they looked like art. The central archive is 5 levels down, she whispered. That's where the oldest records are kept. Jin-Soo nodded. His research had led him to believe that something important was hidden in those ancient files, something the Council didn't want anyone to know. They entered a large elevator. Sukja placed her hand on the scanner. For a moment, Jin-Soo feared it wouldn't work. Sukja had left the Council a year ago. But the scanner glowed green, and the elevator began to descend. They never removed my access, said Sukja with a small smile. They didn't think I was important enough to bother. The elevator stopped. The doors opened to reveal a vast chamber. It stretched farther than Jin-Soo could see. Rows and rows of crystal data storage filled the space. Each crystal contained thousands of years of history. We need to hurry, said Heewon. Our disguise will only hold for a few hours. Jinsu moved quickly to a central terminal. I need to search for records from before the council was formed. Sukja helped him navigate the ancient system. Together, they searched through files that no human had ever seen. Most were in languages Jinsu didn't recognize, but his translator device worked on the text. There, he said suddenly. That file. It mentions the Devourers. Sukja went very still. Are you sure? Jinsu nodded. That's the name I found, mentioned in ruins on 7 different worlds, always with symbols of fear and warning. He opened the file. Images filled the screen, dark shapes moving between stars, worlds burning, species dying. What am I looking at? Asked Hewan, her voice quiet. The true reason the council was formed, said Jinsu. Not for peace or cooperation as they claim. It was created out of fear. He continued reading, his face growing pale. According to this, over 10 million years ago, entities known as the Devourers nearly destroyed all life in the galaxy. They specifically targeted civilizations that had developed certain technologies and philosophical patterns. What patterns? Asked Hewan. Jinsu looked up, his eyes troubled. Exactly the patterns that humanity has been showing. Rapid technological growth, independent thinking, questioning authority, adaptability. The council wasn't trying to guide younger species, said Sukja. They were suppressing them, keeping them from developing in ways that might attract the Devourers. Jinsu nodded. And humans showed all the warning signs. That's why they kept restricting us. He downloaded the files to a secure device. There was so much information here, details about the Devourers, their patterns of attack, the worlds they had destroyed. Wait, said Jinsu suddenly. This can't be right. What is it? Asked Hewan. According to the official council history, the Devourers were defeated, driven out of the galaxy forever. Jinsu pointed to the screen. But these sealed records say something different. They're expected to return. The cycle is predictable. Sukja stepped closer to read the text. Every 12,000 years, she whispered. And the last time they came was 11,992 years ago, finished Jinsu. They're due to return within a decade. Hewan's face hardened. And the council knew this. They've been preparing. Yes, said Sukja, but not to fight the Devourers. The plan was always to sacrifice the younger species as a distraction while the elder races hide. The truth hit Jinsu like a physical blow. They were never going to warn us. Earth and the other new worlds would be the first targets. While the Devourers were busy consuming us, the council races would escape to prepared safe zones. Hewan checked her watch. We need to move. We have 20 minutes before the security shift changes. Jinsu downloaded everything he could find about the Devourers. This information could save not just humanity, but all the younger species. As they turned to leave, alarms suddenly blared throughout the complex. Red lights flashed in the corridors. What happened? Asked Jinsu. Security. Breach, said Sukja, reading a nearby terminal. Not us. Something else. Her eyes widened. A message was received from deep space. Something triggered the ancient warning system. Hewan looked grim. The transmission from the frozen council fleet. It must have been a warning sent to the Devourers. But that would mean... Jinsu couldn't finish the thought. They're already here, said Sukja. The cycle is happening now. They ran for the elevator. The mission had just become much more urgent. They had to get this information back to Earth. As the elevator rose, Jinsu's mind raced. If the Devourers were returning now, everyone was in danger. Not just humans, but all life in the galaxy. And only Earth had been preparing to fight back, even without knowing the true threat. We need to move fast, said Hewan as they reached their ship. If what we found is true, we don't have years to prepare. We have days. As the Nighthawk lifted off, Jinsu watched the archive world fade in the distance. For millions of years, the Council had kept this secret. They had controlled and suppressed younger species out of fear. Now that fear was coming true. But perhaps the Council's greatest mistake had been trying to control humanity. Because humans, it seemed, were the only ones ready to stand and fight. President Jun Ho-nam stood before the emergency meeting of Earth's global leaders. His face showed the weight of what he had just learned, but his voice remained steady. "The information from the archive world changes everything," he said. "The threat is not the Council. It is these beings called the Devourers, and they are coming now, not years from now." The chamber was silent as the leaders absorbed this news. Dr. Jin Soo-yu stood nearby, ready to answer questions about his discovery. "How much time do we have?" asked one of the leaders. "Days, perhaps weeks," said Jin Soo. "The signal sent from the Council fleet seems to have awakened them early." Admiral Ji-woo Park stepped forward. "Our long-range sensors have detected unusual energy patterns at the edge of the galaxy. They're moving fast, faster than should be possible." "And the Council?" asked another leader. "What are they doing?" "Running," said Admiral Park with disgust. "Their ships are moving toward hidden bunkers deep in unexplored space. They're abandoning everyone else, just as we discovered in their secret files." President Nam's eyes hardened. "While they flee, we will stand and fight. Not just for Earth, but for all the species the Council was willing to sacrifice." He turned to Dr. Hyunwoo Kang, who had been quiet until now. "Is the quantum shield ready?" Dr. Kang adjusted his glasses. "The prototype works. We've been mass-producing the units for weeks. With the new information from the archive world, we can make final adjustments to target the Devourers specifically." "How many ships can we protect?" "All of them," said Dr. Kang with quiet confidence. "And not just ships. We can extend the shield to cover entire planets if needed." President Nam nodded. "Begin the deployment immediately, and send a message to all the younger Council species. Tell them the truth about what's coming. Offer them our protection." Across the galaxy, panic spread as the Devourers approached. The Council elders fled in their ships, abandoning their responsibilities. But humanity sent a different message. In every major language of every world, President Nam's face appeared on communication systems. "People of the galaxy," he began, "a threat approaches that the Council has hidden for millennia. Entities known as the Devourers are returning to feed on our worlds, our people, our very existence." He paused, letting the words sink in. "The Council elders have fled, leaving you to face this threat alone. But humanity stands with you. We offer sanctuary to any who wish it. We offer protection through technology the Council tried to prevent us from developing. We offer hope in the face of darkness." He looked directly into the camera. "Earth ships are moving to key positions throughout the galaxy. They carry quantum shield generators that can protect entire worlds. We ask nothing in return. This is not the time for bargains or politics. This is the time for all sentient beings to stand together." The response was immediate. 11 of the younger Council species sent messages accepting Earth's offer. There, ships began moving toward human vessels for protection. Others were more cautious, waiting to see if humanity's promises were real. On the bridge of Earth's flagship Defiance, Admiral Ji-woo Park watched the tactical display as the Devourers' ships entered the galaxy. "They're heading straight for Earth," she said. "Just as the archive records predicted, they target the most dynamic civilizations first." "How many?" asked Commander Do-hyun Kim, who stood beside her. "Hundreds," said Admiral Park. "Maybe thousands. More than we expected." Do-hyun nodded grimly. They sense we're different. A threat to them. The Devourers were unlike anything humans had ever seen. Their ships were not made of metal or known materials. They seemed almost alive, moving in ways that defied physics. They were black as the space between stars, absorbing light, rather than reflecting it. "All ships in position," reported a young officer. "Quantum shields at full power." Admiral Park opened a channel to all Earth vessels. "This is Admiral Park. Today we fight not just for humanity, but for all life in the galaxy. Hold your positions. Protect the worlds in your care. The Devourers will reach our lines in 30 minutes. Meanwhile, in his lab deep beneath Titan's surface, Dr. Kang made the final adjustments to the master quantum shield control. His fingers moved quickly over the complex device. "Power levels stable," said his assistant. "The network is ready." Dr. Kang nodded. "This is what they feared," he said quietly. "Not just that we would attract the Devourers. They feared we would find a way to defeat them." The first attack came with blinding speed. The Devourers' ships slammed into the quantum shields around Earth. Energy flared across the shields like lightning. For a moment it seemed the shields might break, but they held. "They're surprised," said Admiral Park, watching the enemy ships pull back to regroup. "They didn't expect resistance." The Devourers attacked again, this time with energy weapons that twisted and bent like living things. Again the quantum shields held, though some flickered dangerously. "They're learning," said Do-hyun, "adapting to our defenses." This was the test. The Council had always suppressed species that showed adaptability, fearing the Devourers. But now the most adaptable species of all stood against the ancient threat. In his lab, Dr. Kang watched the battle data flow across his screens. "They change their attack pattern every time," he muttered. "Fascinating." "Can the shields hold?" asked his assistant anxiously. "Not forever," said Dr. Kang. "But they don't need to." His fingers flew over the controls, making adjustments. "We just need to hold them long enough." Across the galaxy, human ships protected worlds that had never seen Earth. Species that barely knew humans existed now huddled under the protection of quantum shields. And everywhere the Devourers attacked with increasing fury. "They're focusing on Earth now," reported Admiral Park. "All their ships are converging here." President Nam stood in the Global Command Center watching the battle unfold. "Just as we hoped," he said. "Dr. Kang, are you ready?" "Almost," came Dr. Kang's voice. "I need them closer, all of them." The Devourers obliged. Their thousands of ships formed a sphere around Earth, all attacking at once. The quantum shield glowed bright as a sun under the assault. "Now," said Dr. Kang. He activated the final sequence. The quantum shield didn't just block the Devourers' attacks, it changed. It expanded outward in a wave that caught every Devourer ship. But instead of destroying them, it trapped them in a quantum state, neither fully in our universe nor outside. "What's happening?" asked President Nam, watching the enemy ships freeze in place. "I'm cutting their connection to our dimension," said Dr. Kang, "sending them somewhere they can never return from." One by one, the Devourer ships began to fade. Not exploding or breaking apart, but simply fading from existence. In minutes, all of them were gone. Silence fell across Earth's command center. Then cheers erupted. The same scene played out on ships and worlds throughout the galaxy as word spread. The Devourers were gone. The ancient threat had been defeated not by running or hiding, but by standing and fighting. In the days that followed, representatives from 27 species came to Earth, not as council members, but as equals seeking a new beginning. President Nam greeted them in a simple meeting room. "Today we start over," he said. "Not as rulers and subjects, but as partners, each bringing our unique strengths to build something better than the council ever was." As the new alliance formed, Admiral Park stood with Commander Kim watching Earth from orbit. "It all started with us leaving the council," she said quietly. Kim nodded. "The day humanity left the Galactic Council was the day the universe learned what true cooperation could achieve."